Hello, my name is Justine, and I'm here with the Ring of Democracy. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that started in 2016. We educate, organize, mobilize, and engage Black and Brown communities, specifically marginalized communities overall, here in the Sacramento region. And one way we are doing that is by conducting these conversations with candidates in the area about their platform. And today we have Tim Riley, who is running for County Board of Supervisors, that's Region or District 1. And thank you so much for coming out to join us today. Would you like to speak a little bit about why you decided to run for this position?
Yes. For 20 years, I worked from my home in Sacramento, programming the research databases at the Everglades National Park near Miami. Today, I'm a candidate to represent District 1 on our Board of Supervisors. Our county needs Sacramento dorms. I envision a 5,000-room homeless dormitory having an environment of education. Each room will be supplied with self-study tutorials, and Sacramento dorms will have a study hall staffed with tutors. The tutors, I envision, will have social science degrees. Our county needs a 5,000 cell bigger jail. Our old jail is too small and deemed cruel punishment by a federal court. The new jail will also be in an environment of education. The third leg of the stool is Sacramento Community College. Tuition and books will be free. The primary lesson at the school will be to learn how to learn, and a required course for graduation will be titled Ethical Citizenship. Of course, to build, manage, staff, supply, and maintain 3 big buildings located downtown will be expensive. It's now a pipe dream. So I dissected the county budget and posted a funding plan at timriley.net. As you can see, I value nature, humanity, protection, and education. If you share those values, then vote for me to be the newest member on our Board of Supervisors.
All right. So you spoke on the Sacramento dorms, which of course is seems to be the centerpiece of your strategy when it comes to addressing the homelessness issue in the county. And when it comes to addressing homelessness in a way that meaningfully expands access to mental health services, housing, substance abuse treatment, and more long-term supportive services, how would the dorms address this?
Yes, Sacramento dorms will be a big building with economies of scale and economies of scope. By having all of those services in one location, it becomes efficient. Behavioral services like detoxification and education services like basic education, health skills, and nutrition information, well, that can all be provided in the one location.
Interesting. And following up on that, when it comes to folks who already are housed at the moment, but they may be in danger of losing it, how would you go about preventing folks from losing their homes?
Well, there's a serious issue of the cost of housing in Sacramento County. When I was born in 1960, the world population was 3 billion. Now the world population is 8 billion. And in 12 years, the world population is expected to hit 9 billion. So in my lifetime alone, the population will triple. This increase in human population is increasing the demand for beds, rooms, food, clothing, all sorts of the basic essentials. The key to satisfying those needs is production. Developers are recognizing that there's a demand for housing and demand for other services, and developers are finding ways to increase the supply of housing. For example, in North Natomas, there's a large housing boom converting farms into neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. And in downtown Sacramento, there's a huge development boom converting old, outdated factories and warehouses into apartment buildings. So the economy, the market system is working, and in the long term, the supply and demand will equal the price and will have equilibrium. But it's a continuous process, and it will continue.
I see. So in that case, if there is that ongoing supply and demand that will lead to enough housing accommodating the growing population, what role does the county play, since they certainly have a large role when it comes to housing and land use in unincorporated areas? So how do you expand affordable housing while preventing displacement of longtime residents?
Our founding fathers negotiated a constitution having limited government. So our economic system is based upon supply and demand, the markets. A market is a group of buyers and sellers with the potential to trade. Once the price of a good or service is set by the market, only those willing to pay that price will get that good or service, and that includes housing. So the government doesn't have a role to play in dictating the cost of things. What the government can do, however, is subsidize. And the government, well, the state has a program for delivering emergency cash. The state and the federal government have programs to subsidize housing and nutrition, and the county currently funds a health center that provides basic health services for those in need. So the county does have a role in raising the health standards and the environment standards of our community, but that's different than the government dictating how much items should cost.
I see. So one important element there seems to be that there needs to be collaboration between different levels of government in order to help make sure that families are staying housed.
Well, the county has the Department of Human Services, which is the liaison with all the various other governments that provide services. So currently, county residents simply need to go to one place, and that one place has counselors and will interview residents, and that's the one-stop place for county services, and it's quite efficient.
It's quite efficient. In that case, are there changes that you would make to improve access to health care for low-income residents and those that are in crisis?
Well, health care is the #2 appropriation on the county budget. $1.4 billion a year is spent on community health programs. The main facility is the Sacramento Primary Health Care Facility located on Stockton Boulevard and Broadway. And that is the facility that provides primary health care for those in need.
So at the moment, you're aware of the services that the county provides and believe that they are sufficient?
I have no information otherwise. I have to assume all of our county workers are working in good faith, and I haven't come across any publicly available information that would warrant any kind of critique.
Okay. And the Board of Supervisors controls a significant portion of public funding, so maybe outside of healthcare or those specific services, are there other ways that you would ensure taxpayer dollars are being used effectively and equitably across all communities in the county?
Oh yes. What's necessary is public disclosure of financial, public disclosure of fund expenditures. The budget, the funds that are spent are divided into segments. The primary segment that you see on financial statements is by department. But there's also other segments that need scrutiny. For example, a financial cash outlay by project, or a financial cash outlay by program, or a financial cash outlay by an objective. These are different ways to segment the same dollars and to provide a different view of how our money is being spent. Now, all we have to do, all the county has to do, is publicly disclose those expenditures by those segments. And then the press and interested residents can have access and provide their own scrutiny and raise alarm bells if things are out of whack. Oh, and another segment, now that you mention it, is by location. It is very important that our county funds are appropriated equally among all the different locations. So that would be another segment.
Definitely. And jumping topics a little bit, but definitely still touches on disparities. Public safety at the county level includes jails, probation, and community-based programs. How do you approach public safety in a way that balances accountability, prevention, and rehabilitation, especially when it comes to certain neighborhoods possibly being policed more than others?
Well, I have to assume that our sheriffs and city police officers are acting ethically. If there is unethical behavior, of course, that should be addressed on an individual basis. But our public safety bottleneck is our old jail. When it was built in 1989, it was built with a capacity of 1,850 inmates. Well, the county population is 50% more than it was in 1989. And instead of increasing the jail space, they made the jail more dense. And in 2022, I believe, there was a lawsuit and a federal court mandated, it's called the Mays Consent Decree, mandated that the jail be thinned out. So our public safety needs a bigger jail. I envision a 5,000 cell jail. And more importantly than the number of cells is the services that will be provided. It, just like Sacramento dorms will be in an environment of education, the jail should be an environment of education. It should have self-study tutorials. It should have a study hall with tutors. Instead of it having a common area of interaction, it should have a common area for study and doing homework and gaining basic educational skills to become employable, because our technology-based economy has a higher standard for education, even for the most basic of employment jobs, than it used to.
Right. And following up on that, you spoke about how this larger jail would be able to accommodate more people and provide reform programs. Once the people who have been through the system have been reformed and they are out in the community and they are working a job, they are able to support themselves, and they're out of the system, those cells might start emptying out. So if you now have a larger jail and also a drive to successfully get more people out of jail and into the community, successfully doing work and not ending up back in the system, how do you incentivize keeping the jail empty if the reform program is successful?
Well, the jail, currently it's a pretrial detention facility. So the average stay is, I don't know exactly, but I would imagine it's 10 days. Now, the jail intake currently averages about 75 felons per day. So the revolving door is probably 75 in a day. What needs to happen, though, is our public safety needs to be expanded to also include misdemeanor infractions, theft at grocery stores, vandalism. Those are not even being considered for incarceration, even for a day, because there's not enough space. If the jail were big enough to always have plenty of space, then even a misdemeanor should take a one-way trip to the jail and at very least spend the night in the jail. It would be the adult equivalent to go to your room, you're grounded for the night. And the next day, chances are a prosecutor is not going to want to prosecute. That's more expensive than the outcome would warrant. But even if the inmate has one night in jail and it's a one-way ticket to jail, so there's the added burden of having to find a way back home the next morning, that should be deterrent enough to raise the ethical standards in our community and communicate that we value protection.
I see. Okay, I know we're coming along, so I will ask, trust in government is critical at the local level. So how would you increase transparency, community engagement, and accountability in your role as a county supervisor? And then you can let us know why folks should vote for you.
Again, transparency is the key word in your question. Public disclosure of expenditures is the key to oversight. Now, when I said all the different accounting let me just start over. All the different accounting transactions in the accounting information system should be segmented by department, program, and location, and objective. Then financial reports should be published that summarize all of those different segments. Now, in the financial statements for each segment, of course, there's going to be a block for each segment. And then in the lower right-hand corner, there's going to be a summation for the entire statement. Well, if you have a summation on each statement, they should all match. And if they all match, then you have integrity that the information is correct. In my 65 years of life, I've developed two important skills. Number one, I can articulate context and nuance. Number two, I am not a group thinker. Instead, I'm a critical thinker. You don't want a representative who joins the groupthink of the supervisor culture. Instead, you want a critical thinker who will transform the culture to value education.
Thank you so much for your time, Tim Riley. We have got to wrap up here, but I'm Justine with the Ring of Democracy, and thank you so much for being here and jumping into the ring to advocate on behalf of your position. Yeah.